Hello, today I'm going to go through the worksheet 7.8 and show you how to compute this worksheet. This is another version of a cash flow summary or cash flow budget, and just wanted to give you an opportunity to see a cash flow summary based on the quarter of the year system. Our previous cash flow summary was on the monthly system, but let's go ahead and get started. If I see this cash flow summary, again, all this information up here is really nice, cash inflows and cash outflows, but all I really need to know is the net cash flow per time period and beginning balances. Okay, I can figure out the rest from there. Okay, for example, let's take a look at this. We have 4 different time periods here. We have January through March, April through June, July to September, October through December. I start the year with $5,000 in cash, and I also start the year with $25,000 of a beginning operating loan balance. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, one thing that's kind of challenging about this cash flow budget is that it does not have a row or a blank for cash available before borrowing. That's a pretty handy cell, especially when figuring our loan needs, and you saw that on our previous cash flow summaries. This particular one doesn't, but that's okay. We'll still go ahead and be able to solve this. But as always, we want to go ahead and end each time period with a $1,000 cash balance. It says right here, budget for an ending cash balance of $1,000 each quarter. So, okay. We begin the year with $5,000 cash. We have a negative cash flow of $11,000. So, in other words, we would have a cash available before borrowing of negative $6,000. 5,000 plus a negative 11,000 is negative $6,000. So to have an ending cash balance of 1,000, we're going to need to borrow 7,000. That gives us an ending cash balance of $1,000. Now we need to add that $7,000. We need to add $7,000 to our beginning operating loan balance. So $25,000 plus another $7,000 borrowed is $32,000. That's now our ending operating loan balance for the first quarter of the year. Okay, so we have a $1,000 cash balance for the first quarter of the year. We begin the second quarter of the year with that same $1,000 cash balance. Uh-oh, we have a negative, oops, sorry, I put that $1,000 in the wrong space. We begin here. We have another negative quarter of $15,000. So, okay, we started the quarter with 1,000. We have a negative $15,000 cash flow. Therefore, we have a $15,000. We have a negative $14,000 cash available before borrowing. So therefore, we have to borrow $15,000 so that we have an ending cash balance of 1,000. We began this quarter with a $32,000 operating loan balance. We just borrowed another $15,000. So therefore, we now have a $47,000 operating loan balance. We end that quarter with that balance. We start the next quarter with that balance. We ended June with a $1,000 cash balance. So we begin July with a $1,000 cash balance. We have another $8,000 negative quarter. So before we borrow, we have available to us negative 7,000. We start with 1,000, we go down 8,000. That means we have a cash available before borrowing of negative 7,000. And so therefore, so that we end with a positive cash balance of $1,000, we need to borrow $8,000 more in quarter number 3. That would give us an ending cash balance of $1,000. And then we go ahead, we borrowed another $8,000. We add that $8,000 to the $47,000 we already have borrowed. That gives us an ending loan balance of $55,000. We ended the third quarter with a $55,000 loan balance. So we begin the fourth quarter with a $55,000 loan balance. I ended the third quarter with a $1,000 cash balance, so I begin the fourth quarter with a $1,000 cash balance. Okay, good news, fourth quarter we have a positive $32,000 net cash flow. That's great. So we have a $33,000 cash available for borrowing. We can take $32,000 of the $33,000 to pay off debt. That would still leave us with $1,000. We began that quarter with a $55,000 debt. We just paid off $32,000 of it. That leaves us with a debt of $23,000. And that's it. That's basically it. If we want to do the whole year column, it just looks like this. Our whole year we borrowed $7,000, then $15,000, and then $8,000. That's a grand total of $30,000 borrowed. Let's see here. We paid back $32,000 in the fourth quarter of the year. Our ending cash balance for the year is $1,000. Our beginning balance of the year was $25,000. Yes, that's what it was for the year. That's what this means. The whole year, beginning cash balance, or excuse me, the beginning operating loan balance was $25,000. Just like the beginning balance for the year was $5,000 here. Our ending operating loan balance is $23,000. And that is how you complete worksheet 7.8. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, drop me an email, or stop by my office, and I'll do my very best to explain any problems that you may have. Thanks for paying attention. Hopefully this helped.